What's up guys, it's Chachi Power here to do a review on the Mattel Red Lion Voltron figure. And you'll see I got 3 different Red Lions set up. Now the reason I got these 3 here is because these are 3 figures. Actually there's a couple more, but I think the only 3 3/4 inch Voltrons out there besides the Stealth Voltron, which don't care too much about. So as you guys all know, there's like 93 million reviews on the Red Lion already. Everybody's excited about it. There's no need for me to do a complete review since you guys have probably already seen it. I'm a little late in getting this up. I've been a bit busy. But what I do want to do is at least compare, between these 3 to see how far technology has gone and designs and whatnot. So the first one we're going to start off with is this monstrosity here, which is the Panosh Place Voltron, which even as a kid, when like certain things can be distorted enough and you still have the imagination to pretend it looks like what you see on TV, you've seen it a lot with different toys, for example, like Thundercats Lion-O didn't look exactly like the lion on the screen. Toys tended to do that in the 80s, but this is just completely hard, and as a kid I knew it sucked. I still wanted it because it was Voltron, but it sucked so bad. So here you got, sorry excuse for Lance, with his Steve Urkel uniform. You got look at the waist. The belt is right under his ribs. It looks like it's actually constricting him. Like he's got it way too tight, and then he's got like mom pants on, if you know what I mean. Got a little fupa right here. Just really strange proportions, and the whole line of these was just horrid. Like I don't know what they were thinking. Does this even look like Lance? Did Lance have like short hair? No. Just doesn't make sense. It's like a generic figure painted sort of to look like a Voltron figure. So we'll get that out of the way. We'll compare it later to the new Lance. And then here is their sorry excuse for a Voltron Lion. Now I don't know what kind of acid these guys were tripping on when they designed this, but look at the face. Seriously, like what happened? Like to the head was just like completely squished down, and then they left the other proportions normal. So if you cover this and pretend the ears are a little higher and the eyes are a little higher, it kind of would look normal. But then look, it's just, and then it's got a huge like lower jaw. Just doesn't really make sense. And then instead of a circle, it's this gold square. Then you got like you got this clear canopy. I mean, because we all know the Red Lion had a clear canopy in the show. It just looks retarded. And then it's got like this like accent here, this red thing, and just look at the legs, sideways toes. And since when do Voltron Lions have like 4 fingers? They have 3 claws. And then someone is like, in the standing position, I want his feet pointing down. So that's what they made. And it just look at it. I mean, I don't really need to put it down too much for, I'll let you guys do that by looking at it. It's just a horrid toy. This is supposed to be an arm. This is an arm. And it just looks so horrible. This is the only Panosh Place Voltron figure I have. I have all the little figures because at least they sort of looked like the Voltron team, but this, I just couldn't bear to see my favorite robot be mutilated the way they did this. So it's the only one I got. So that's my first foray into 3 3/4 inch Voltron figures. My second was this huge Trendmasters Voltron, which I got in several pieces once it got to me. Whoever sold it to me decided that they can just stick it in a huge box without any stuffing, just box, Voltron inside. And luckily I was able to salvage most of the pieces of the figure and reconstruct the Black Lion, which got the brunt of the damage. But this one remained relatively unscathed. As far as I know, there's nothing broken. Let me see, I don't remember what features this had. I think, oh yeah, this shoots missiles from the back. I don't have the missiles with me here, which was a nice feature. Now you see, obviously this is not really meant to look exactly like it did on the show, but it remained faithful, you know. Besides this canopy sticking up over here, which does not exist, you know, the legs look the way they're supposed to. The head looks the way it's supposed to. Check this out. Shooting fist the way it's supposed to. I mean, Trendmasters, you know, had a pretty good idea of what they were doing. And check this out. Light up eyes. That is awesome. And they still work after all these years. And then you got the opening mouth, spring loaded. You have elbows, and this spins. The reason I'm showing you guys this on this is because a lot of the features that are on this old Trendmasters are missing from the new Mattel Voltron. And again, if you did see the reviews, you'll know exactly why I'm pointing these things out and why it's important to know this before I move on to the Mattel Voltron. Now the tail, looks a little weird, but the tail does become the attachment point, and the plastic is hard, but it's that type of plastic that won't crack. It's more like the plastic that'll just flex like crazy before any damage is done. Yeah, and then you got the cockpit. Simple cockpit, you know, nothing crazy. But you got the clear canopy, which was a little annoying to me since Voltron doesn't have clear canopies. But, you know, they felt the need to make the figures be able to look out cleanly through glass. So, that being said, put that to the side, and let's move on to the Mattel Voltron. I'm not going to go through the whole box thing. It's been done many times before, but I will show you how far they've come with technology. So, technology has brought us this. This is Mattel's version of Voltron in 3 3/4 inch scale. Not technically 3 3/4 inch scale, otherwise the red line would be gigantic, but this is their edition to be used with 3 3/4 figures, which is the Lance right here. Now before I get to the Lion, I do want to show the differences, and I showed the difference of these in another video, but now that I have him with a helmet, it would be nice to show you guys what's going on. So big difference. Let's zoom in a bit here so you guys can see how much better the new one is. So check that out. Obviously much more like what you see on screen. And the only difference I found between this new Lance and the pre-production piece that I had was that this doesn't look like it's really, it kind of does look like it's supposed to be holding a gun, but the other one really looked like it was supposed to be holding a gun. So I don't know if that was a mold change or just variations in the mold, or just the finger on this just is bent in more. I did show you guys what he looked like without the helmet. Here he is with the helmet. A lot of people have already shown that this comes off, and it actually works, you know, in its favor, as you can hold the helmet here, you know, on the side like he's holding it, and, you know, with the other head. Now, I don't believe that was intentional, but it's definitely awesome if you want to display it that way, which is cool. But if you didn't see, it does leave him with this little weird bald head with the little slit there. But that is cool. Now, moving on to the actual Lion. Let's go ahead and do that. You saw the other two, and I want you to check out what's going on with this new one here. Now, you'll see it is more reminiscent of the older, you know, die-cast that we grew up with. That's really where the similarities end. There's a lot of differences. Obviously, this holds a figure. The legs are styled differently. They've taken the liberty of just redesigning what the legs look like, which, you know, it's probably just due to design, what they wanted to do with the whole transformation thing, or they just wanted to be different. But it does have a little bit of the details like you would see on the older ones. You got an actual tail, which is pretty cool. Now, you guys probably already saw that this, due to its gimmicks, the figure is actually limited in articulation. Now, it's not so much limited, like you can do this, you know, this, but it's just, you can't really keep the legs up because the spring action makes it want to go down. So you can't really do anything with it, really. Back legs really have to stay like that. And the front legs, which allow you to do a little bit more, really don't serve a purpose, really, because the feet don't even stay down, so it kind of looks weird like that. using the spring gimmick to your advantage, you can actually bring this front leg back as if you're going to clip it there, and it kind of stays there. And you can bring this one forward so it's got like a flight pose to it, and then just fold the legs back here, and it actually does create a nice flying pose. You notice it's really close to the camera because this thing is really big. Now the figure does feature some nice ratchets, but this is what kills me here. Like, it's just, I don't get it. Like, why do that? At least the Trendmasters had the firing head, you know, had the legs that don't have any kind of gimmicks. You know, like, the whole point of Voltron is really forming into Voltron, really. Like, you'll notice when they form Voltron, they do show the sequence where the legs fold in. You know, the legs automatically folded in and the back was folded in to recreate that part where he's coming together. That might be cool, and I still wouldn't want it to be part of a collector toy, but I can deal with that. But the fact that this is him coming out of Voltron mode and into line mode, just, I don't get it. Again, the front also features ratchets. The paws feature small ratchets. Ratchets are also in the head, very hard ratchets there. Also in the mouth here. And then you do get the waist here, which acts like the elbow. Now, there's no side to side, like spinning movement as you would get in the Trendmasters, which is an older toy. Still features elbow, still features swivel here. They did not work that in there. I'm sure it's because of the whole cockpit area, but really, this has cockpit also. See this, Mattel? You know, and there's no firing gimmicks. The Trendmasters had, you know, the shooting missiles on the back and the shooting head and light up eyes, and that the whole Voltron, I think, went for $50, I think, if I'm not mistaken. 50 to 80 bucks. I don't remember. And you know, that's pretty much close to what you're paying for this and the other figure. And now, of course, this is much bigger, more modern. I just want to touch again on the legs, where I did say the legs have been designed in a weird way to accommodate the gimmick. So you'll see it's got this little angle piece, which from the sides and the front kind of make the bottom of the legs look a little thicker than I'd like. But that's so they can, you know, catch onto this little piece here. So I guess I can show you guys the gimmick, which I'm not too fond of. But you fold the legs in, and instead of the feet laying flat up against this part, they actually go back here, which is kind of strange too, to me. And there we go. So you would do that to form the arm, and bring this down to hide the tail. So this would be the arm, okay? Now, to come out of the arm position, here's the infamous gimmick, which wasn't too bad in the front, but check out the back. It's like a frog. Like if you just catch a frog and tickle its butt, that's what it would do. And then the tail doesn't pop out with the button. Instead, you pull this up and then it pops out. Now, I know they give you this key to activate the features, but that is so stupid in my opinion. You got a big button here that obviously is not made to be pressed with a key, and then they want you to like push the key into his butt. You know, technically this is a butthole. I mean, that just looks really strange. Like, that's a big sphincter right here. You know, everybody says, oh, push the button on, you know, in his butt. This is not his butt. This is his butthole right here. I mean, they have it here for this. If it's not evident already, you'll see springs. And, you know, all the reviews have something to complain about, including mine. You know, it's just, I guess it was just the whole waiting and seeing what this was going to be like, and then realizing it was going to have like dumb gimmicks like this. You know, this is labeled as an adult collectible. Do they really think adults get a kick out of using plastic keys and sticking them in buttons and stuff? No. So it's just weird, their decisions they made for this. So yeah, you get the cockpit right in here which is surprisingly well detailed. Pretty accurate. It's got the little screen with the little star. It's got the side windows here, which this should be inside the head, but obviously not. So he would just sit right in here, and then you would just close this, and voila, he is seated in the Red Lion. Now the Red Lion does come with a weapon, which goes right here. It's got little indentations on the actual blade weapon, which I don't have with me here, but they go right on his teeth, and he holds it. Just in case you guys are wondering, here's how he scales with a Masterpiece Red Lion from Toonami. And this is another one that a lot of people complain about. It's pretty much near perfection as far as looks and, you know, proportions, depending on who you talk to. They also took the liberty of changing up the design of the legs, but very nicely done. However, people complain also that this doesn't shoot and it has no gimmicks, you know, but it almost seems like you're never going to have a perfect Voltron. You're always going to have figures that have better features than the others, you know. It's like almost like you can really just grab features from all the Voltrons and make the awesome Voltron, you know what I mean? Like if they could somehow work pilots into the head, you know, instead of having to make them 3 3/4 inch, I could deal without a 3 3/4 inch figure, or at least release the 3 3/4 inch just to have them. You know, I don't need 3 3/4 inch to go into a robot that would be ridiculously sized and obviously not viable for production. But I would also like maybe some little tiny pilots that could really go into the head. Forget about these opening cockpit gimmicks and, you know, transforming, and it's just stupid. You know, like this one has actual articulation from side to side. You know, it has the elbow, and it spins, and actually spins on both ends here. So I don't know. I guess you know, it's tough to be a Voltron fan because you're always going to find something to nitpick. But Mattel, thank you for making a Voltron. Not the perfect Voltron, but it's a 23-inch freaking Voltron. So I don't plan to ever untransform the Voltron. It's just going to lay there on my shelf looking awesome next to my Jumbos. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it, guys. You know, had nothing new to really add to this except to show you comparisons with the other Red Lions, which I'll do one more time. Let's just put them side to side here. Do one last quick look. And you can definitely see that, aside from this one, because he doesn't really count because it doesn't have a pilot feature. You'll see the Mattel one definitely is the biggest and baddest. And one thing that stands out completely obvious now, having these two next to them, is the lack of chrome, or at least silver paint. But that's going to be it, guys. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And till next time, bye-bye.